Okay, just real quick. I am over on RJP's chat, and he's talking about the Darley case. And I find it interesting that I'm gonna choose my words correctly here. I find it interesting that the supporters refuse to talk about the fact that Darlie Routier sat on that stand and said that her stepfather abused her sexually from the age 8 on. We were talking about it. Well, somebody else was talking about it in the chat, and I always wondered why the supporters don't want to touch on that. He absolutely does not want to touch on that, and I'm going to tell you what I think. They don't want to touch on what Darlie said on the stand. You can't pick and choose. If you're going to discuss the case, in my opinion, you need to discuss all aspects of the case. The fact of the matter is, Darlie did say that Dennis molested her. That is something Darlie said on the stand. Now, Rich, if you feel like that's an insult to Dennis, then take that up with Darlie because she's the one that said it. So if someone is in there going, well, she said on the stand that Dennis Stahl molested her, and Rich comes back with, you'll be booted, and you're disrespecting the family, well, where'd that come from? And the Sully that's on the stand, on the panel right now, used cows as Devin and Damon. Cows. Blood. Sully that sat on the stand, that is up there with Rich right now, who refuses to tell us what case she said she was expert on, because she wasn't. She wasn't. She wasn't expert on that case. She wasn't expert on any case. She said, well, I'm not going to tell you because that'll dox me. But she gets up there. We know her name. We know where she lives. We know where she went to school. We know her mom's name. The reason she won't answer that question is because she's lying. She did not serve as an expert witness in any case. That right there kills any credibility to me to what she's got to say. I'm disappointed that Rich doesn't want to speak on what Darlie said Dennis did to her, because that's part of the case and it's relevant. Now, when you want to, and you want to not discuss something, but you're trying to say that somebody's innocent of killing their 2 children, you want them out, but you don't want to discuss that. What's that look like? What's it look like to us when Darlie says it was an open conversation in her family, but it's not an open conversation on the panels? If it was an open conversation in her family, why did her mother not protect her? Why did her mother choose that man over her? Darlie had to live with that all her life. And I've sit and listened to people downplay it and downplay it and downplay it. If somebody touched my 8-year-old daughter, I'd want them dead. So what I'm seeing now is a little bit of protection. He committed a fucking crime. So let's protect him. He committed a crime. So I'm going to address that here. We're going to address that on my channel. My channel is going to be nothing about what the sex, being molested does to a child. Sully sat up there on her channel and said that the molestation that Darlie received from her stepfather did not affect her. What an insult to anybody who's been molested. So if you don't want to discuss all aspects of the case, then you go ahead and do that. But you're not doing anything no good for Darlie. None. Because Danelle says he didn't do that. Danelle, I've got her right now saying he did not molest her. Darlie said he did. So who's fucking lying? That's why you don't want to talk about it. And with that, I pass.